Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the channel, and today we are going to be talking about the first stage of the 2022 Tour of Slovenia, and I would just like to thank the organizers as well for giving us this footage to use. So the 2021 edition was almost a coronation of Tadej Pogačar winning his first ever Tour of Slovenia, and he's back to defend it. So on stage one, we had a 164.7 kilometer stage with three categorized climbs. Of course, the final part of the climb had kind of a climb before we had a 13-kilometer descent and then a final climb before another flat section. So it was a lot to endure, but we had a break up the road with a plethora of continental riders, of course. And at the front of the peloton, we had UAE Team Emirates doing the work, of course, being the defending champions. UAE had brought a strong team consisting of Tadej Pogačar, of course, Pascal Ackermann, Rui Oliveira, Miguel Biel, Jan Polanc, Rafa Majka, and Vega Stargalangen, the Norwegian. However, with 65.8 kilometers, there was a crash in the peloton, and that unfortunately involved two riders, one Iolo Cometa rider, and they seemed not to be too bothered about this. With 63.3 kilometers, we had Bahrain victorious, of course. Such a formidable team this year. They had Doman Novak, Matej Mohoric, Jan Tratnik, to say the least, as the star riders, and incidentally also Slovenian riders. About 400 meters later, the breakaway could see the ensuing damage being caused by the Bahrain victorious, and they swallowed up the breakaway soon enough, and then we were left with a situation with about 61 kilometers to go with no breakaway. Bahrain victorious was still putting on the hurt at the front and really stringing out the peloton that was remaining. Jan Tratnik put in a satellite attack, if you will, with 59.4 kilometers just to test UAE Team Emirates, and then we came to this situation where Tadej Pogačar looks around, he ups the pace and just disappears up the road almost. However, he was marked by Novak. He was expecting this, you would guess. So Novak did stay on the wheel of Tadej Pogačar. Tadej Pogačar looked behind to see who was there, and he could see that Rafa Majka was coming up behind. And shortly, these two riders became a quartet, joined by Sean Bennett and Rafa Majka. Sean Bennett, of course, a former World Tour rider, did well to hang with this group. However, it didn't last long as the American rider was dropped by this very elite trio. Well, these three riders made their way on this slightly downhill with 53.6 kilometers to go. Two of the riders that were caught out by this acceleration by Tadej Pogačar was Jan Tratnik and Matej Mohoric, who worked together to try and close the gap. Sean Bennett and Matej Mohoric seemed to be closing the gap to the front trio, and in the chasing group behind them, we had a formation of Iolo Cometa, knowing that they were about to lose out with their favorite for the day, Vincenzo Albanese, looking to pounce. Tadej Pogačar and Rafa Majka, coupled with Doman Novak, looked absolutely superior at the front. It wasn't long before Matej Mohoric got tired of Sean Bennett and left the American and proceeded up the road for the Slovenian road race champion. Mohoric seemed like he was about to close the gap 26 seconds down, but then suddenly he just went pop and Sean Bennett passed his former breakaway colleague. It didn't last long though, as Sean Bennett was quickly swept out by this Iolo Cometa train, and there was only 18.7 kilometers, but they still had 1 minute and 37 seconds of a deficit to the front trio, who were working really well. However, Novak was not taking a lot of turns. Iolo Cometa were persistent. They did manage to close the gap down to 1 minute and 25 seconds with 15.2 kilometers to go. And at the front, we could see that Novak just managed to accelerate hardest on the final mountain sprints to get the points in the bag for him. However, it was Rafa Majka who was going to be wearing that at the end of the day. But in the final 6 kilometers, of course, the attention drew to the stage honors, of course, and Novak was definitely taking it easy at the back, not contributing, and they still had, with 4.1 kilometers left, 1 minute and 18 seconds of advantage. Behind them, Iolo Cometa and Bike Exchange Jaco looked like they were trying to do something. Tadej Pogačar with 2.3 kilometers accelerated hard to try and see if he could drop Novak, but Novak was quick to respond to his countrymen and it didn't phase him at all. We then got into 1.6 kilometers. They had a lead of 1 minute and 7 seconds here. We saw Tadej Pogačar look around. We saw Rafa Majka, all of them a bit hesitant, and then suddenly Rafa Majka puts in a very stinging attack. Novak takes a split second too long to respond to it. Novak is unfortunately about 10 meters, and Rafa Majka just drives this gap absolutely to perfection. Tadej Pogačar plays the perfect teammate, and this gap was what took it all the way to the finishing line. Rafa Majka takes yet another victory at the Tour of Slovenia. The pole really happy about this victory, of course. Looks behind Novak, and it was basically sealed. Tadej Pogačar playing the perfect teammate. A 1-3 for UAE Team Emirates. They definitely can't be upset with that. Plus, then behind we had Vincenzo Albanese gunning for the line, gets 4th place, and what could have been for Eola Kometa on this day, on the first day of Tour of Slovenia. But yeah, the vital attack, or the decisive attack, happened there with 1.4 kilometers to go. Rafa Majka absolutely putting in the afterburners and then taking it all the way to the finish line. Absolutely incredible stage. Great done. Great work by UAE Team Emirates. And of course, they look like they are in the driving seat for the Tour of Slovenia overall, of course. Tadej Pogačar and Rafa Majka, of course, great teammates, and we saw Rafa Majka get the green jersey, something that we think that his teammate will be wearing at the end. But nevertheless, in terms of the GC, Rafa Majka leads the Tour of Slovenia by 6 seconds ahead of Domen Novak, and Tadej Pogačar in 8 seconds behind in 3rd place. Vincenzo Albanese in 4th place. Then we get yet another Slovenian in 5th place, Luka Mezgic, and Nikola Konchi is in 6th place. Matej Morahic salvages at 7th place, and Fernando Barcelo for Carual in 8th place, and David Gaburo for Bariani CSF in 9th, and Fabio Fellini in 10th place. So that's basically it for this first highlights video of Tour of Slovenia. And of course, thank you again to the organizers. And tomorrow we are, of course, going to have a bit more of a flat stage. So make sure to join us for that. And hopefully the video will be out a bit sooner than it was today. But if you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, comment down below if you think Tadej Pogačar is going to take, well, the Tour of Slovenia and also the Tour de France. So with that, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you around.